I just played a casual round of golf with a friend of mine, Mr. Tian Strauss. He was a rugby player here in Australia. He captained the rugby union side. And for some reason I found myself in Sydney, me and the family, Liesl and the kids, and had nothing to do on one day and came to play here at this very golf course, but it wasn't the same golf course. But I haven't been back since, so it's really, really nice to be back in Sydney. It's a shame we can't really see a lot because of the smoke, but it's a wonderful city, iconic city of the world. So it's good to be here.
You've played today in the Pro-Am. How's your game looking?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. I've haven't played too much since the summer. I played in South Africa, not very well, but I had a lot of rust on my game, so it's been nice to shake some of it off and do a bit of practice down in Leopard Creek. But my focus is really on the team, not really on myself. Getting the guys going for next week. That's really on my mind. But obviously, I've only played one other Australian Open in my whole career, and this is the second one. So, but unfortunately for the event, my mind's on other things. But I'd love to play well this week.
Do you like the golf course and the changes that you've seen?
Yeah, it's really good. Brought in a lot of hazards. Obviously Jack Nicklaus came in here and changed his own golf course. The greens are a little bit more undulating than I remember back in the day. And as I say, there are quite a few more hazards that's in play. It all depends on what the wind does. If the wind comes, the golf course will play really tough. It's playing really fast. But it's quite scoreable in conditions like we had this morning.
Questions, please.
Ernie, you mentioned Tian Strauss, so I might ask you a rugby question if you don't mind. As a South African, what did it mean to you to see someone like Sia captain the team to win the World Cup? And a follow-up from that, is there anything that you can take from what the Springboks did that you can sort of transfer into the President's Cup team, where you're bringing together a bunch of players from around the world?
Yeah. I mean, what Sia has done is quite incredible. I heard that he, in the previous time the Springboks won the World Cup in 2007, he was living in a not a very nice, comfortable house, and it just shows you with hard work and to pick himself up from where he was, and the way South Africa has changed. It's just been incredible to see Sia's rise through the ranks in rugby and in life in general. And today is the year of South Africa. He's in the same echelon or even higher than his previous two captains that won, in John Smith and Francois Pienaar. So he's an absolute icon back home in South Africa, and somebody that we can really look up to and try and emulate. For young kids, it's just an incredible story. And then obviously what the Springboks have done was another great story. They were the absolute underdogs, going into the World Cup. They didn't have a lot of form, and somehow stood on the podium with the cup. They had a good draw. They didn't have to play New Zealand or Australia in the semis or quarters, but still they prevailed and then beat England in the final. So it was quite a comeback story.
Ernie, when did you find out about Jason Day?
On Friday morning, my time in South Africa. There were my phone was buzzing quite a bit, and I eventually looked at it, and saw there were 3 missed calls and 2 text messages from Jason. So he was quite frantic to get me, and I called him back. It was about 3 in the morning my time in South Africa, and he was in California, and he gave me the news.
What did he say? Can you tell us how that conversation went?
He said he was prepping to come down here. and he was in Palm Springs, California, and just felt a huge tweak in his back, and he said it was something that he's felt before, and it wasn't going to be a short-term solution to it. You know, it was going to be a long-term injury. So that was that. You know, he wanted to be badly. I know that. We've had a lot of correspondence through the year. We've had 4 or 5 team meetings. He was at each one. So he was totally invested to play, and it's unfortunate what happened.
How big a challenge is it for you to overcome what he would have brought to this team?
Well, you know, we've had some challenges in the past, and this is one. But as I said before, you know, we've got such an array of players that we can pick from, guys that are really on form, long-term form, and you know, it's unfortunate for Jason, obviously, you know, not be able to play at home. But I've got a really great replacement in Ben Hahn. You know, I've got a lot of confidence in him. He played great at the end of the season last year in Korea, Japan. At the Sanderson event, he finished 2nd or 3rd. So he was really, really close, and it was a really nice call for once that I made to him, because the previous call was a very disappointing call.
Next question.
Ernie, you've been very strategic with the way you've tried to formulate your President's Cup plan of attack. Have you thought about who you want to face Tiger on Sunday? Is that already on your mind?
Not really. I'm really focused on the first couple of sessions. You know, we got 4 sessions before we get to the singles. There's a lot of golf to be played. I'll analyze how the guys are playing and see who's really got the look in their eye, and then see accordingly how the guys are playing through the week. You know, there's a lot of guys who have put their hands up to want to play Tiger, but there's going to be a lot of discussion before we get to the singles, so not really.
Are there any partnerships that stand out in your mind, like Cameron and Leash, or any of the other guys?
Yeah, there's a couple of pairings that kind of are natural pairings, if you can call it that. But I'm looking at it in a different way, not just a personality way. I'm looking at how the guys can really perform together. So stay tuned.
Ernie, you said you've had a lot of guys put their hand up to play Tiger. What does that tell you about the team and the players in the team?
Yeah, it's a very young team. We've got a lot of young guys, and then obviously we've got some experience in Adam and Louis and Leash and some of the guys. Hideki now, he's played quite a few. And then we got some youngsters, really youngsters. I mean, 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds. So that's refreshing. These guys, they never competed against Tiger like some of the other guys have. Like Scotty, Scotty ran into Tiger quite a few times. So there's different ways you can look at how guys have played in the era of Tiger, and the youngsters look up at him, but they definitely want to have a piece of him. So we'll see who plays the best, and they're not, maybe not the best, but who I think can really play against Tiger the best and get the best result.
Do you think that matchup is as intimidating for guys now as it was 10 years ago? Is it less intimidating now for them?
Well, when you play in the singles, it depends on where the event is, where the standing is, the two teams are. The pressure could be really high, depending on where that matchup will be. If it's going to be a crucial time, it'll be a different player that's going to play Tiger. If it's, we're going to really look at where that certain player is going to play Tiger, and I don't want to have a guy feel overwhelmed. I will not put a guy in there that's going to feel overwhelmed. So I will go accordingly. I'll see who's going to feel like he's really got the best chance against him, and I don't think it's the same kind of aura like in the past. I think it's a different kind of aura. It's more of a, like it's a celebrity kind of an aura. And, you know, obviously he's very competitive. He's won the Masters and, you know, won in Japan. And when he's healthy, he can play at a really very high level. But consistently, he's not what he used to be, you know, and that's just what age does. But we'll see when we get there.
Last questions, please.
Okay, Ernie, please ignore this if you've answered it. Just given your role next week, how does that change things this week in terms of will you be going home and being on the computer and checking out all of the scores from the internationals and also the Americans?
I'll be watching the Americans a little bit. There could be something there, you know, the way the pairings were done for the first round. It was interesting to see, you know, Tiger playing with Justin Thomas again. Seems like he likes to play with Justin Thomas a lot. So there could be something there. And then I'll look at some of the other pairings. There could be something there, more than with us. You know, my pairings, you know, is on my phone, yeah. And, you know, we've looked at quite a few different scenarios. I've spoken to the players, some of the players already. So my thing's kind of set already. You know, my plan is kind of set in motion already. So it really doesn't matter how the guys play this week. They've done their work. They've done their hard work of getting on the team. They don't really have to prove much to me anymore. It'll be nice if they play well. But, you know, we've done the long-term form guide on all the players, and I'm happy where they are.
Bernie?
Ernie, just a quick one. I know you've talked about focusing on the teams this week, but in the bigger picture, you wouldn't be here if you didn't think you could win. And you've won the Open, you've won a US Open, you've won a Scottish Open, you won a Singapore Open. What would it be like if you did get yourself in contention to win an Australian Open?
It'll be just unreal. It'll be a great feeling. It'll be wonderful to be in contention. I really like the course. As I say, I've played in Australia a lot, you know, since the 90s, early 90s. I played at the Vines in Western Australia. I've played in Melbourne. I've played up in Queensland. So, and I've won quite a few in Australia. You know, I've won I think 4 or 5 times in Australia, but I've never been able to play a lot of Australian Opens like my countrymen have. You know, Bobby Locke has played a lot here, and obviously Gary Player won 7. Thank you very much. Australian Open. So they've had a lot of success, and Australia's been such an unbelievable force in golf, you know, with your tournaments you've had and how you've attracted great players to come and play on your great golf courses. So I've been fortunate enough to play down here, so it'll be great to be able to be in contention.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Ernie. We'd like to see you in the week. Thank you.